Hello, boils and ghouls. It's your old pal, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And I want to welcome my good fiends of the Horror Heals podcast. Is horror good for mental wellness? But of course it is. I delight in the delicious deaths of pitiful people on the silver screen. So get ready for a hell of a good time with my new fiends, Corey and Kendall, on the Horror Heals podcast.
Hey, Horror Heliacs, it's Christmas, dammit, which means joy and family and a completely unnecessary level of stress about whether a gift bag is nice enough. I'm Corey, and this is Horror Heals, the podcast where we celebrate the healing power of horror, and we do it with love, laughter, and the occasional emotional support slasher. Today, we've got Jill Schoelen on the show, horror icon, absolute delight, and now the creator of a Christmas release that is festive, fun, and proof that you could bring light into the darkness without pretending the darkness isn't there. And honestly, that's our whole thing. We talk about the horror community, the magic of conventions, and how something as simple as a movie, a song, or a shared obsession can pull you out of your own head. We were so excited to talk to Jill that we just started chatting and forgot to introduce her on the show. We were talking about our other podcast, Family Twist, and Kendall was sharing his found family story with Jill, and we just got carried away, so away we go.
Songs on my record, on my Christmas album, River, that's a Joni Mitchell tune, and somebody told me that they had read that that song has to do with how she gave up a girl for adoption. I don't know if that's true.
Interesting.
I mean, the song sounds like a love story with a man, and it probably was, right?
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know how old she was or whatever. But they also told me that she just never could. I don't know if she ever went back to the idea of wanting to meet her. I think it's maybe for a mom too painful, maybe.
Yeah. My dad was the complete opposite. My dad, his wife, knew that I existed. You know what I mean? They wanted to try to find me, but they had no way. So it's been amazing. It's been crazy and cool. And we're going to go see my brother and his wife and their kids on Christmas Day. It's fantastic. You know, it's funny. You don't think you'll ever really give up. But when I turned 40, I felt like I had exhausted every resource to try to find people. And this was a little bit before the DNA stuff was happening. That just opened all these doors.
Yes. Yes. Wow, you guys. Fantastic.
Yeah. It's really kind of funny how our podcasts sort of cross over to each other. We've got the Family Surprise podcast and then now with Horror Heals. So thank you for mentioning the Joni Mitchell song because it just sort of ties into the whole holiday thing and, you know, adoption thing. We're definitely going to talk about your album because we are Christmas music fanatics here.
Yes.
But real quick, I just want to remind the listeners why we do this. So I was at a horror convention about a year and a half ago, waiting in line to meet Sam Raimi. And there was this young man behind me who was clearly in duress, you know, very, very anxious, kind of muttering to himself and stepping back and forth. And so I was about to say, hey, if you want to step out of line and come back in when it's your turn, you know, totally fine. But the guy next to him noticed the stack of DVDs he was holding, and he, it said, oh, I really love that movie. All of a sudden, all that anxiety washed off this young man's face, and he had made a new friend, and they were just chatting away until it was their turn to meet Sam Raimi. I immediately called Kendall because we'd been talking about doing a horror podcast because we're horror fanatics. And I said, well, I think I got it. So
the angle we could use.
We've had some greats on the show. Dee Wallace, she's remarks how often people come up to her and just say like, you know, E.T. saved my life, or, you know, this movie saved my life, and thank you so much.
The nature. Yes, I'm always so surprised. I don't do a lot of shows, but it seems to be the ones that I go to. There's always at least one person, usually a few, that say, you're the only reason I came to this show. And that always shocks me because that's normally at the bigger shows with really huge stars. And they're like, you never go out, you're never anywhere. It just means the world to me. But yes, people talk about their experiences. I think a film that really affected a lot of people, and it's not horror, where they say the impact this movie made on their life, is a little film called Babes in Toyland. Yeah, it's a Christmas film with Keanu Reeves and Drew Barrymore and many other stars. But people will talk about that film and how much it meant to them to sit with their grandma or their mom watching that film and their siblings. I think horror in general, I find that a lot of people are attracted to horror on an unconscious psychological level. Let me use an analogy first. It's like I've always thought to myself, well, why do people pay so much money to go to a sporting event? I'm convinced it's because they don't know the outcome. And when they watch the players play and the excitement, they get to kind of live vicariously. It tunes them into the moment and life at its, this heightened kind of thing. And I think that same kind of conduit, living life vicariously, happens with a lot of horror fans and seeing these horror movies that their characters they relate to, or they're just relating to surviving the horrificness because they feel something in their life was so askew or whatever. It's like almost like a relief or something.
For us, it's definitely a release.
Yeah.
It's escapism.
Growing up gay, we always saw ourselves as outsiders, relating to those characters, those outsider characters. And there's one or more in every story that you can relate to.
I think it's interesting because it's so changed, with people who are gay. It so has changed, right? Like now people, they just come out right away. But there was a time, certainly going back into the 70s and 80s, where people really did feel the need. I mean, they still feel the need. They still feel the need to that initial thing of coming out. And it's not even that the family would reject them. Of course not. They're loved in their families, but they just don't know how to do it because maybe they're a family that goes to church or, so there's just a lot of fear. And then for some people, it's real because, there's prejudice that exists. I find it interesting if it's okay to talk about this. There's a lot of the gay population, I find, that's very into horror. Am I making that up?
No,
I think you're right.
And I think part of it is because of the community is so inclusive. When you go to a horror convention, it's all walks of life there, and so it's, not only gay people being able to be open and out at a horror convention, I think it's also a release for other types of folks because you'll have doctors and lawyers there that are probably not out as horror fans, but they absolutely love horror. But in their professional life, they don't talk about it because there's that stigma, which is thankfully changing as horror becomes more mainstream, and we're seeing all kinds of amazing stories being told this year. Especially, we're probably going to see a horror movie or a couple of them up for Best Picture, which is remarkable. I could see Sinners. I could see Weapons, up there too.
Yeah.
And it's what a year for horror this has been.
Yeah.
Wild.
Well, one of the things, though, and it kind of makes me mad, is that some of these movies that do get that attention, they have the budgets, to really keep horror alive and well, really like all genres, not just horror. They've got to change. I feel, can you tell my whole voice changed? I'm in my mouth now. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
But I feel very strongly about this. They have got to change the concept of a handful of films getting all the money and all the rest of the films getting no money. Horror films being made on a shoestring budget. It's like, we need financial middle class for $5 to $20 million. We need more films than that. Because if they're made, they'll be well received, but it's very hard to make a good film for no money. Yeah, people, you don't have, without,
Right.
people are resources too. So you need the resources to get the resources. But on the other hand, the horror community is so supportive of the horror community that people are willing to do small films. And not only actors, but directors and people just they love the genre so much, they just want to be making these films. So there's that part. I'd still like there to be more money involved in making better films, higher quality.
Yeah.
Like the one that you mentioned.
Well, and I think it's that camaraderie, too, of people coming together for a project, for a creative project, which leads us right into your Christmas album. And what a crazy, wild, fun collaboration that was, right?
Yes, it was. I've been retired for a long time. It was a weird chain of events that happened. When I got really sick with COVID, my life changed because I thought, okay, well, this is it. This is all that there is, and I couldn't recover. And I heard this voice deep down inside me as I couldn't breathe, made me think a lot about life. Like, oh my God, how did this happen? How did I arrive here? I'm so healthy. And I heard this voice and it said, it's time. And it wasn't time to go. It was time.
Yeah.
And it was so bizarre because within no time at all, I got a phone call from Diana Prince. She's the Darcy the Mail Girl.
Yes.
So she got in touch with me and said, you want to come? I want so bad you to come be on Joe Bob Brick show. It's called The Last Drive-In, and we want to do a thing about popcorn. And so I did that. And then Barbara Crampton sent me an email. Never met Barbara Crampton. Barbara Crampton sends me an email. Would you be willing to work and talk to this director? So I talked to him. I did his short in his anthology that'll be coming out. Then I get this phone call from the ex-COO of 20th Century Fox saying she's retired there, but she wants to make this film, and it's a self-financed film. Would I be willing to open myself up to work again, having no idea that I just did the short film? She knew I'd been retired for 29 years, and I did their film. And then I got a phone call about doing another film tonight. It's been very bizarre, like complete nothing. And then all of a sudden to be working again, because I got COVID after COVID was over. I never had in the big part, when I had it later. But anyway, when the shutdown stopped and all that, that's when I got it. Maybe that's why I got it. Let down my guard a little bit. Who knows? To the Christmas album, one of the films was called Ralph's Perfect Christmas, and it had this huge horror twist in it. And during about maybe 9 months ago or something, they were talking about how they were working on the post-production, the music part of the film. They had the edit, they blah, blah, blah. And they said, oh, yeah, well, we're looking for Christmas songs now. And I'm like, oh, I have some Christmas songs, ones that I recorded years ago. And anyway, they are using one of those songs in the film. And that's what led me to wanting to do a Christmas album. I thought, I've got a Christmas film. I've always wanted to do a real Christmas album. It's time.
Yeah. Good for you.
And made the album. So yeah, it's an EP.
Yep.
It's just an EP. Although the physical LP, which I sell on my website, and I have a red vinyl special edition of it, as well as the CD, and they're both completely different packaging. The CD has the pamphlet and tells the whole story and everything like that. But anyway, that has my older songs on it that I had previously, but not the one that's going to be in the movie because that's a surprise.
Cool.
That album, 9 songs on it, but the digital EP only has the 5.
And it's fantastic. We love upbeat Christmas music, and you never know what to expect when somebody's got a new Christmas song or album. And so it was a delightful surprise for you. So upbeat and so fun.
Oh, that Here Comes Santa Claus with Barbara Crampton and Chrissy Fox and Judy Aronson and Diane Franklin, 80s babe Diane Franklin.
Yes.
It was so funny because I handpicked that song months and months before even thinking about who I wanted to bring onto that song. Because there was this part of me that was like, well, there's so much darkness in the world right now. So much darkness in the world. And we know that people involved in horror are lovely people. But if you're not part of the horror community, then you think, oh, I would, there are those people. I would never watch a horror movie. Those people that watch those kind of movies, they're very judgmental about the people that I watch them. So I'm like, that's not true at all. So how do you break that prejudice? The nicest, kindest people I meet are the fans of horror. You know what? I need to bring some of that. So how do I get that element in? I'm going to ask some girls that are previous Scream Queens, except Chrissy Fox, who's newer, and get them to sing on the song, and we'll bring a little light into all this darkness.
Now, yes, I've met Barbara and I've met Diane, and they're just fantastic people. When I saw that you were having this collaboration, I was thinking this must have been just a blast to do.
Oh, it was. But the weird thing was we did it all separately. Nobody had any idea what anybody else did. I put all that together. I cut that with my music producer, Brandon. Boy, did we have fun cutting that together. But it was hard.
I bet.
Each girl 3-4 takes. And then it was so random. I gave him a little bit of direction, but it was so much fun. But then we've had fun in shooting the video and our separate photo shoot. And we just had a big party.
We love seeing collaborations like that. We've been fortunate to interview and meet so many people or luminaries, and it's just, I would say like 99.9% of them are just genuinely good people. Even though they made this movie 30, 40 years ago, like that's still their family. They're still in touch with them. And it's beautiful.
I was very fortunate and very surprised that Robert Englund invited me to his ceremony at the Walk of Fame for him to get his star. I was just like, and I was complete outsider because family, it was really all Nightmare on Elm Street people.
Were folks there surprised to see you, like some of the Nightmare folks, and were they just like, wow, and please come back?
I've been out of the business for so long that I think people don't recognize me when they first see me. I'm older, right? And so they just don't recognize you, or you're just out of sight, out of mind. Then you shake somebody's hand and you say, oh, hi, I'm Jill Schoelen. And they go, then they know. They won't know me initially. So, yeah, but it's wonderful to see people, and some people I knew, knew me. I know Amanda Wiss and Tim Myers, but not a lot. I'm very shy, painfully shy. But I'm shy in a public environment to go and say hello to people. I don't know why. Just have always been.
I'm a little bit that way too. People are surprised when I say that.
Because this is my Leo over here.
Here's what I started doing years ago at the horror conventions. I wear the wildest sequiny, shiny blazer suits, or like a nice red velvet smoking jacket or something. And it's a conversation starter that I don't have to start the conversation because somebody's coming up to me,
That's Corey.
That's what works for me.
Corey, I love that.
Do you foresee maybe now that you're only semi-retired and kind of getting into making more films that we might see you pop up at a convention or two next year or the year after?
I love meeting all the fans of horror. I'm not invited. I mean, I'll just tell you frankly, I'm not. The promoters just, I don't know why. I think because I'm more niche in the horror genre.
I wonder if it's just that because you've been out of the business for so long that it's just not that they don't want to have you, but it hasn't crossed their mind. I mean, there are some really great conventions here on the East Coast, and I'll definitely put the feelers out there and say, hey, Jill would love to meet the fans because I'm sure there are a lot of people that would come out, as you said, just for you because like they've been waiting, they've never had the opportunity to say hello and get their popcorn signed.
I went about 5 or 6 years ago now, it could be 7, to the Mahoney Drive-In. I went there, and that was a Jill event, so that was nice because they showed multiple of my films there. But that's not a convention.
Right.
I did Chiller. I did that a year ago, but before that, I have not been to the East Coast at a convention since, I think, 2011.
I was even remarking to Kendall that I'm surprised because I was going pretty frequently, like 4 or 5 a year. And I was like, boy, but I've never seen Jill at one of these.
Oh.
So yeah, we'll put the good feels out into the universe and maybe we can get you out here next year.
And Corey, it surprises me that you're shy. First of all, you have the most joyful face. You just illuminate light from you.
Thank you.
Beautiful smile. Both of you have gorgeous smiles.
Thank you.
But you're a fire sign, and so am I. We're supposed to be out there and blah, blah, blah. But you do wear the sequins jacket.
Yes, it's funny.
I think it was maybe one of the last conventions I went to, and Greg Nicotero was there, and he had invited Brett Butler to come because she was doing The Walking Dead at the time and hadn't really been out in public eye in a while. She immediately had to come up and give me a big hug. I was wearing this loud green sequin blazer.
Oh,
She was
I
so sweet,
love
and
it.
So it definitely sparked something.
So great. I just bought a sequins jacket. I went to the Sphere in Vegas, and I saw the Wizard of Oz there. And when I saw that red sequins jacket afterwards, I'm like, that is mine.
I've heard so many good things. What was your experience like seeing that? Because that's one of our favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's my all-time favorite film. One of these days, I threatened either to write a very long article or a book on The Wizard of Oz, but not in the traditional sense, not in the sense of the filmmaking part of it. But for me, The Wizard of Oz is a roadmap to life. Speaking of the yellow brick road, my first indication, this is what happens. My favorite movie as a child. And then I didn't see the movie for years and years and years. And I think around the time my children were small, in my 30s is when I saw it again. And when it got to the Scarecrow and she comes to the crossroads, as a child, I remember having the thought, I went to Catholic school. So, thank heaven, pick the right road to get to the Emerald City. And then when I saw it as an adult, I was like, I was so wrong about that. Didn't matter what road she chose. Didn't matter what path. She just needed to be on the path, right? And Glinda the Good Witch, not to be totally off on this, but it just makes me so excited. But And they cut this part. That was the one thing I did not like about seeing it at the Sphere was they cut down the movie and just went
Yeah.
to. And one of my favorite lines is when Judy Garland, Dorothy, says, well, how do I start for the Emerald City? And Glinda replies, well, it's always best to start at the beginning, right? All you have to do is start. Then that's just start, and it gets you on the path, and you will find your Emerald City. And it's like, what's at the top of every mountain? Another mountain.
Yes. Well, I found that out the hard way a couple of years ago when we took, we're both scared of heights, and we took, what do they call those little cars up the mountain with my mom, and my mom was like, don't turn around and look. You can't tell from the bottom, where the top's going to be. That was terrifying.
Where did you go? Where were you?
We were in the White Mountains in New Hampshire.
And yeah, it was beautiful, but it was frightening.
And they just got a surprise 2 feet of snow.
But it didn't give you a panic attack if you have fear of heights?
I'm a little anxious.
I just imagined the car just falling, and because, yeah, it was my own private horror film in my brain.
Have you ever had a panic attack?
I had a mild one, and that's another time I was with Kendall and my mom. We were just on some hike or something, and it was just the path got a little too narrow for me, and we were a little too high, and my mom had to talk me down.
There's nice little panic attack.
Right, exactly.
And I was nervous about going to the Sphere for that reason, because I had read whatever. I didn't have the problem at all there. No issue. I wasn't sitting on the edge of one of the balconies, and I was just in the first balcony because I have a neck issue. I'm having surgery in a couple months here. I have a big surgery coming up. And I heard if you sit on the floor, you're like this. Well, I can't be in that position any longer than what I did.
Right.
So, I found I had no issues there. But like I stay in my hotel, I'm like, first 10 floors, please.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Do not beat my brother. He got a room up on the 55th floor. He's like, come on up, have a glass of champagne. I'm like, you would need to give me 5 bottles of champagne. And then I can't drink more than a glass because I, just don't like to drink more than a glass. Yeah. So what's going to happen?
Yeah, I have no interest in that level of heights.
It's biological.
I believe that.
It's like a brain thing. Some people have it, some people don't.
Right. Yeah.
I'm terrified. Yeah.
Because I will get on a roller, but Kendall won't.
Oh, fire sign. You love roller coasters.
I'm a Cancer. I do not enjoy any of that motion.
So, Jill, I'm going to edit this episode today so it gets out in time for Christmas so people can at least stream the Christmas album. And then once they stream it, they're going to love it. Then they're going to go on your website and buy a physical copy because we're all about physical media here still. Like we're big vinyl collectors.
Let me
Could you sign it, though?
I will sign it. Okay, so let me tell you about my vinyl really quickly. I fear not enough people are buying them because of the price, but I only made 100. So do you know the cost of making 100?
I can only imagine.
Very costly. So I only sell them autographed because that's just how I've been selling them.
It's cool.
I'm not selling it just with the vinyl. But the other reason I'm selling it autograph is because I think it's in the long run a gift to the fans. They're $100, right, for the vinyl and autographed. I sign them, and on the website it gives you the option to say however you want to have it autographed to anybody that does buy them. But it's beautiful. It's this red opaque. Oh, it's so pretty. They are a little costly, but because there's only 100 of them, once they are sold out, I know you know this about vinyl, instantly they become valuable.
Sure.
Once there's 5 left, even, the price will probably jack up. That's just the nature of, supply and demand. There hardly
Sure.
being
Yeah,
any.
now as collectors, we know that. Yeah. The last question that we ask every guest here on the Horror Heals podcast, and we know this is probably putting you on the spot, so feel free to think about it for a moment. Who is your favorite final person, the survivor of a horror movie?
Oh my! Am I allowed to say me?
Yeah, absolutely.
A joke. A joke. Gosh, boy, I have never ever thought about that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think. Oh gosh. Oh, now you've got me stumped.
We've gotten some really interesting answers, but I can tell you the top.
Yeah, tell
I
me.
think the top ones are Ripley and Alien, Nancy in Nightmare on Elm Street, of course, and probably the top is Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode in Halloween.
Artists, yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that makes sense. But I think now that I'm listening, I would say Ripley, right? Because she's in space. She's in space. She had to be smart, and she also had to be confrontive, really, face her fear, not just survive her fear, but she had to conquer it. She had to say, okay, I'm going to motherfucking meet this thing. Finding that thing in you, it's like, no, you're not taking me down. So I would go there. And guess what? I was just watching him the other day. I watched, I think 1, 2, and 3 all in one day.
Wow, that's awesome.
Just maybe 10 days ago or something.
Thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us. Thank you for the wonderful Christmas album. And have an amazing Christmas.
Yes, can I say one more thing about the
Absolutely.
Christmas?
Of course.
I
Sure.
just put out my single. It's on the EP, but then I also did a separate single of it because it was the one song I wrote. And it's called Mingle and Jingle. And a lot of people tell me it's their favorite song on the record. I wrote this song. It has one little nod to horror in it, in the lyric, in the first verse in the song. And it's a little nod to horror in it. It says, turn away your frights and fear, or not turn away. Something frights and fear. Anyway, I forget my own lyric. I'm always this way. It's like I look at myself on the screen and I refer to the person as she, and I'm in the studio and I'm listening to myself sing the song and I go, well, she does this one part here, and she, because that's the artist in you, right?
Yeah,
that's not you. Jill on the planet, and then there's like the artist, the thing that comes out of you. So I talk in third person about myself. But in Mingle and Jingle, the reason I wrote that song, it just came to me one day on a long walk, this idea of mingling and jingling and how Mingle and Jingle brings the holiday tingle. But I really wanted to write it about that voice I heard, like it's time. And I always thought I was already fully showing up. I had to learn that I wasn't fully showing up to life. COVID taught me that. And so Mingle and Jingle, when I wrote that song, it was really about coming back to life. It's time, you can sit there or you can come and be part of life. So let's mingle and jingle and get that holiday tingle.
Cool.
Perfect. That's wonderful.
I love it.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much again.
I hope I get to meet you at a convention.
Absolutely. It would be wonderful. We would really
look for a bright sequined jacket.
Right. Real coming.
Oh, well, we might be the only two. If I know you're going to be there, I'll bring mine.
There you go. Perfect. Huge thanks to Jill Schoelen for joining us and for giving us the rare holiday gift of being both joyful and real. No forced cheer, no fake perfection, just the good stuff. Go stream Jill's release, Christmas is Forever, right now, and if you're a collector, go grab the physical copy. This supports the artists who actually make things and support the kind of art that makes the season feel a little less heavy. And for anyone who's listening who's feeling the weird side of the holidays, the grief side, the lonely side, the complicated side, we see you. Horror has always been a safe place for the outsiders, the anxious, the tender hearts. and the people who need a little catharsis with their cocoa. So follow the show, leave a review, share the episode, and come hang out with us on Instagram. Merry Christmas, stay spooky, and remember, when someone asks, is horror good for mental wellness, you tell them, of course it is. The Horror Heals podcast is produced and presented by How the Cow Ate the Cabbage, LLC.